Welcome back to Keep It Real Boxing. This is Cypher Box, and what I want to talk about is Robert Easter Jr., who faced Javier Fortuna last night. Now, in my opinion, I thought, it was a very close fight. I think Robert Easter Jr. showed he has a lot of flaws in his style of boxing. I'm going to get straight into it. He was fighting a smaller guy. He was a taller guy with the height, the reach, all the physical advantages, yet he struggled against that individual. He didn't, in my opinion, he didn't impress me too much. I've heard, obviously, I haven't followed Easter's career diligently. I watched last night's performance and his fight before that. And based on what I saw last night, I wasn't overly impressed. I feel he's got a lot of flaws. He's got a lot of things to work on. Like I said, he had all the physical advantages and he didn't use them. He was crouching down to his opponent's height level. He wasn't using his height to his advantage, meaning standing up tall. Even the commentators on Showtime were saying the same thing. He wasn't standing up tall. He wasn't using his reach advantage, his jab. He barely used his jab enough, in my opinion. When you're a guy of his height and you're crouching all the way down to your opponent's height, you're making it easier for your opponent to hit the target. If you're standing up tall, your opponent who's smaller than you has to reach up. Not only that, you're not creating any leverage. So you're not keeping that leverage over your opponent. If you're standing up tall using your jab against a little guy, you keep popping your jab out there, you're making him, your opponent, you're making him having to reset every single time and then go again. You're breaking his rhythm like that, and then you can work off that jab. 1-2s, 1-2-3s, 1-2-3-4s, hooks, work the body, work the head. You're in a position of control and dominance. But if you're not using your reach and height advantage when you're the taller guy, then you're playing into the hands of the smaller guy, your opponent, and giving him the opportunity to maneuver, to move, to counterpunch you, to step inside and shorten up the distance and smother your work and start working and teeing off on the inside, which he did a lot. And he did rock Robert Easter Jr. a few times as well. Let's not forget that. So, in my opinion, he needs to go away and work on these flaws and these issues that he had last night, that he showed last night, in my opinion. Even the exchanges on the ropes sometimes when they were close up with each other, when they were fighting on the inside, he was so low. Sometimes his head was even lower than Fortuna's, which, you shouldn't be doing. You should be imposing your physical presence on your opponent. So he's got a lot of things to work on, in my opinion. He was allowing Fortuna, the smaller guy, to bait him and then counter his punches. Even when they were close up in personal with each other, against the ropes. Sometimes most of those engagements, I felt Fortuna won them. Even though it looked like Easter was being the aggressor, even though it looked like Easter may have been the one who was winning those scenarios, he wasn't. Because if you look close up and you were actually watching what was going on, he would miss his punches and then, Fortuna would come back with an uppercut or a left hook, a right hook, landing clean. He was basically, Fortuna, in my opinion, was landing the cleaner shots. That's what I'm trying to say here. And, he just looked riled. He looked like Fortuna got under his skin. He was able to, throw him off his game. That's down to probably a little bit of inexperience, in my opinion. But it wasn't a great performance, and in my opinion, I probably agree with one of the Box Nation pundits who felt that Fortuna won the fight 7 rounds to 5, even with the point deduction. And I didn't score the fight. I didn't do what I usually do, which is sit there with my scorecard and scoring each round. But I was watching it and assessing it round by round. And even I was looking at it thinking, this fight's really close. This fight could go Fortuna's way. He looks like he's winning majority of the rounds. So I don't disagree with the Box Nation pundit who said that. I just think he showed a lot of flaws, in my opinion. He didn't impress me overall. I think he's got a lot of things he needs to work on, go away and work on. There's talks of Jorge Linares and Mikey Garcia, the other champions, at 135. Mikey Garcia is still holding on to that WBC 135 belt, even though he's fighting at 140. So And there's talks. He's been talking a lot about those guys, those individuals. In my opinion, George Linares and Mikey Garcia, based on what I saw last night from Robert Easter Jr., I think they would beat him convincingly. He even did an article recently in boxing.com. There was an article where he talked about Lomachenko as well. My point is, if you had problems with a little guy like Fortuna, yeah, and you barely scraped through that fight, in my opinion, a fight which could have easily gone your opponent's way, how are you going to do against a smaller guy like Lomachenko, who probably has better and possesses better skill sets than Fortuna? Do you see what I'm trying to say? So I'm not hating on the kid or anything like that. I just think he needs to go away and work on a few things. Learn your craft, learn your trade. Don't be in such a hurry to take on the other champions just yet. I think he definitely should have a couple more fights. Work on those flaws he displayed last night, and then go after the rest of the champions. Because if he goes in there next against Linares or Mikey Garcia, in my opinion, I think he loses that fight. Either of those fights. That's just my personal opinion. That's my honest opinion. That's what I felt and what I saw from last night's action. Like I said, I wasn't impressed by him at all. He definitely needs to go away, in my opinion, and learn how to use his height and his reach advantage to his benefit. He's got potential. He has got potential, but he needs to learn. He needs to, like I said, he needs to learn his craft. He needs to master his craft, and he's inexperienced right now, and that showed last night. And I think before he starts jumping into those big fights, first iron out those flaws. Once you do that, and you've got yourself set, and you've worked on those little issues, then you're ready for the other champions. That's just my opinion. That was my take on Robert Easter's performance last night. That's all I really got for you guys on this one. As always, guys, like, share, and subscribe. Until next time, this is Cypherbox reminding you to keep it real.